And he put the phone up to his chest. The doctor says, okay, Chet, you're okay. You're okay. So he says, okay, well, he says, I'm okay for another few days. I says, oh, really? Okay. But I don't know what else he had wrong with him, because I know Robbie is the one that took care of him up to the time he died.
My doctor said I'm not ready for a pacemaker.
They're not ready for
you yet. He says, no, I ain't going to get one. I told the Mark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, you didn't too. Not having.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if they died from cancer, maybe they were, I mean, they must have been heavy smokers. They were very thin. And you talk about looking old. Oh, no, you look young. Because they weren't that old. And they looked old.
You could tell by when they talk if they smoke or not, because the hot smoke will damage their vocal cords, where they'll have more of a raspy thing.
Oh, that's
you
true.
know that's the smoke.
Now, she was a heavy smoker for years. She smoked the Camels without the filter.
His mother did too.
So she was a very heavy smoker. Almost, I think she maybe stopped, what, 60?
I stopped in the 80s. Like
What, 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, not 60s. Yeah, probably 80s. And all of a sudden, we never asked her to stop smoking because she was a smoker, and all of a sudden, I didn't see her smoking anymore. I couldn't believe it. But the doctor told her she would have emphysema if she didn't stop. So far, she's been good. She's healthy. She doesn't take a lot of pills. She just has issues with her knees and her feet.
Well, his COPD, I mean, the only thing we can figure is he had a lawn maintenance for such a long time, and he was out there in the elements and, you know, all that stuff, breathing all that stuff. That's the only thing we can figure out. That's why he got it.
Well, I had issues. I had pneumonia about 2000, when Lisa passed, 12 years ago. I had gotten pneumonia, and they thought I had the valley fever. Are you familiar with that? Valley fever comes from, you know, these sites where they're doing digging, construction, where they move the dirt and all these chemicals come up, and it's like airborne.
Oh,
Okay? You could be in a car and it could come through the vents, anywhere where they have construction. Okay? And what it does is it attacks, the spores attack the lungs. Or like you've gone out of the country, you've been around animals, birds, you know, that kind of thing. I had went to Colorado, and where my son lives, they were doing a lot of construction. That's the only thing I can figure that I got it. I don't know. So, and it didn't affect me right away. Maybe about a couple weeks later, I think I got sick, and I got real sick, and they didn't. First, when I went to the urgent care, they said, the doctor says, oh, you got cold symptoms. Go home and take cold medicine, whatever. Okay, fine. I did that. I was getting the chills, like on the bottom of my legs. Started to feel kind of, you know, chilled, stuff like that. So I didn't go to work the next day. I went to the urgent care. That's what he told me. So the weekend came, and I didn't still feel good the following week. I stayed home. My husband, and I was just laying there. My husband says, no, something's wrong with you. We need to go to the doctor, because, you know, that's just not me. I go there,
I have my own ready, everyone's looking at me.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Paying attention, I don't like that.
By that time, I was like weak.
We didn't do
Really
it
couldn't do much.
much.
And the nurse, my husband called the nurse on the phone and said, you need to, can she walk? Well, she's weak. Call the ambulance. They brought the ambulance. They took me to the hospital. I was there like 7 o'clock in the morning. They didn't figure out what I had until like 4 o'clock. They said, we found that with all the tests and everything, you have valley fever. Do you know what that is? I said no. They started asking me all these questions. You know, have you been out of the country? Have you been around these birds? you know, all this kind of stuff. I didn't know what valley fever was.
Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital for a week.
We don't want kids.
Wow.
So now with all that, I overcame that. I was off work for like 3 months, on antibiotics, had to go back and forth to the infectious disease doctor so they can check the lungs. He said I had scarring on my lungs. So finally recovered from that. Then about like 5 years ago, then I got sick with it's a silent acid reflux. Do you have that?
I think I have it. I kind of diagnosed myself, and my friend said because I was having like these little coughs, and I felt like I was having like, you know, like a heart palpitations, and here it was like, but it didn't burn or anything. And so I went to the heart doctor in the whole bit, and he said, "There's nothing wrong with you." And then my friend says, I have another friend, she says, and she went to the doctor and it's silent reflux. So when I start feeling it, I just take a Nexium, which is not very often, and it goes away, so it's got to be what it is.
Well, how I got, and it was really bad. I was under a lot of stress at work, and I had acid reflux problems. All of a sudden, it affects the throat really bad. You get where you're coughing, and you got all this, like, you know, when you have cold with the mucus and that cough, that's what you kind of feel like. And all of a sudden, you just break out of this cough, uncontrollable. I would be going to the store, wherever I was, and I could be in the line, and all of a sudden, I start coughing. I can't control it. I would just leave stuff and then leave. It was just horrible. Because you thought it was like a bad cold where you have the cough in the chest and you didn't really know what's going on. They had to put the scope down through the nose, and that's not very comfortable. They freeze it, and then they put that, and you can still feel it, and that's what I had. Well, and I had that for quite a few months. I couldn't get rid of the cough. I was constantly, you know, like that, clearing my throat. Nothing would work. Finally, I ended up having to get inhalers. I was on inhalers. They gave me, the only thing that worked for me was the cough medicine to help the cough with a codeine. And then they tried different things, different sprays. It didn't work. Finally, we found something that worked, and I had to use Flonase.
Yeah, see, I haven't been diagnosed.
Well,
so it sounds like you had it really bad.
It was really bad. So what they said is that so chances are I could end up with COPD because it's the lungs. But I can tell when I get like that. I mean, sometimes I'll kind of get like I think sometimes if I eat certain foods, I don't know, not very often, but all of a sudden I'll get like my nose stuffy. I'll sound kind of nasal. I already know the signs when I get like that. Then what I'll do is I'll use I don't know if you heard it, the saline solution. Use a saline solution, blow your nose, then you put the Flonase up there. And usually when I do that, it'll clear it up. Because if it goes full blown, then I'm on inhalers, and it's just horrible.
See, I think I must have just a slight, because I would do that look.
Yeah,
Like
no. When you have that, it's bad. You will know. And
my wife gets that.
She does?
She gets it real bad. But we're in an allergy-prone area.
Oh, okay.
Where the allergies, everyone has the allergies except me. I don't get the allergies. But one time we went to the dermatologist for me, and he checks me about every 3 to 6 months because I had melanoma. And he'll find places on my head and he or she will freeze.
Did you have
them.
surgery?
He's had a few.
Yeah, they got a big hole cut right here. There was a mole that started bleeding, and the doctor cut it out and sent it, and he said it's melanoma. He says we're going to get you to a surgeon, and he's going to cut more to make sure we got it all because it's a fast-moving head.
Yeah.
They'll kill you. We may have to send you to Texas to, what is MBA? To get treatment, which was good enough never to go because the surgeon had gotten, and there was nothing on my lymph nodes or the surgery, so I was cured. Real good. But we were in there, and my wife says, "Do you have time to take care of me? What do you need?" I said, "I want this little thing taken off my nose right here." "Oh yeah, we can do that right quick." Well, she was doing a lot of sneezing at the time. Coughing. And when they took that thing off, and put her Band-Aid on there, we got
You
out.
have a wife
Hey,
you can use.
you're not sneezing anymore. Yeah, right. And it was that little thing that was making her sneeze.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. So, but now she's back to sneezing again. I said, "Let me see your nose. Maybe you got a wart on there. We can go ahead and get it off." But
Maybe something's on the inside.
yeah, it could be. But anyway, she's
Yeah.
and she brought up to the doctor, from the flu that she had, and the doctor said you'll have that sneezing for a long time. So sometimes maybe she might have
He's gonna look at you
problem.
say
I
STD.
mean, 3 times in a day. I said,
It was
"It sounds like you're
SPT.
getting better. You're not coughing
STP.
constantly." She
That's what
said,
he's gonna think it is.
yeah, and then other days, the next day, she's coughing all
I
day
think
long.
It's oil. Well,
It's not my birthday. He's got balloons.
They're having a party.
So
yeah,
anyway,
no,
no,
I've been
it's
watching
over
them move
there.
stuff around.
Anyway.
You can go move in on them later.
We'll move in on them later.
Oh yeah, yeah. So anyway,
Party
we got,
crashes.
Yeah, nap time.
Well, I'm looking at him.
He
He's doing.
takes the 2 o'clock nap.
Who took the 2 o'clock?
He does. He takes the 2 o'clock nap.
Well, he tries.
See a little halo finger.
yeah, and for no reason at all. Sometimes my face gets